Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. Today, we'll be looking at the latest tech champion coming to MCOC, Prowler. We'll be looking at all his abilities and the best ways to defeat him. So, here we are, back on the Kabam website, which I'll link down below, with a full abilities breakdown for Prowler. And note that the following stats and abilities are based on a rank 5, level 65, 6200, 6-star champion, though there are some numbers that will be constant throughout all star levels. Custom-made flak armor grants immunity to bleed and incinerate, and increases Prowler's block proficiency during the opponent's special attack by the given amount. A solid set of immunities, bleed and incinerate, allowing him to counter certain mutants, and an increased block proficiency during all opponent's special attacks is really nice. This ability is already on OG Iron Man, and I really like it on there, though that one is more potent, especially given his armors, but the ability to see much lower damage on specials than you expect is very nice. This, in my opinion, is an indirect counter to prowess. He doesn't touch prowess in any way, but this will allow him to get around it a little bit. Unyielding, unrelenting, Prowler is immune to falter, and has 115% ability accuracy. The ability accuracy is here purely as a domino counter. Will he be crit failing all over the face? Probably, but we'll have to wait and see. He shouldn't, but this is domino we're talking about. But Prowler is immune to falter. That is big. This actually I think is bigger for nodes than it is for champions, but this is a massive, Ebony Maw can't do anything, really, to Prowler now. He can remove the fury that he puts on with the special one, but that's pretty much it. Immune to falter means as well that you will have to be careful exactly how the miss is caused. If, for example, you're playing on tunnel vision, which is a node that can put falters on you, that you will be immune to. Excellent. But if you're facing a champion like Ghost or Invisible Woman, where the miss comes from a different source, i.e. something on the defender, then you'll have to be slightly more careful. If you're up against someone like Professor X, who inflicts you with a falter, you'll be absolutely fine. Other nodes that I've found that have falter on are Arrogance, Diversion, Faltering Mind, which sort of buffs falters, Haunted, and Now You See Me, as well as Tunnel Vision, but I'm sure there are others as well. Prowler does not benefit from the Collar Tech Mastery, and instead gains critical damage rating for each rank invested. I'll have a much bigger breakdown of all masteries coming on Friday, but the Collar Tech Mastery reduces the amount of power the opponent gains when you're fighting with tech champions only. We'll see why this has been removed for Prowler, because you actually want them to be throwing specials with him, and giving him critical damage will increase his ruptures when we get there further. So this is actually a really nice quality of life change, and it isn't like some of the stupid defenders where it's just like we've turned it off. It has instead been replaced, and I think that's absolutely fine. Pneumatic Gauntlets. Medium attacks are non-contact pneumatic blasts that cannot be evaded, and the fact they are non-contact means that they can't be parried by the majority of champions. There are some champions like Angela, for example, that can parry non-contact attacks, but they are few and far between. When Prowler would land a critical hit, he instead inflicts a rupture passive, dealing the critical damage the hit would have dealt as physical damage over 1 second. This we'll have to look at when he comes out properly. For example, if you hit them for 1000 damage, and it should have critted and done 2500 damage, will this rupture passive do 2500 damage or 1500 damage, dealing the critical damage the hit would have dealt? We'll also have to see how this interacts with, say, armors the opponent has, and should it be the critical damage if they were unarmoured, as in it bypasses all of that, or the critical damage it would have dealt based on modifiers on the opponent. We'll have to see. But for the rest of his abilities, just think critical hit means rupture, and rupture means critical hit, though they are quite short. That's okay though, we'll see why in a bit. Prowler's second medium inflicts a falter passive for 3 seconds on the opponent, paused during his special attacks, which cannot be inflicted if the opponent is already faltered, so no spamming medium just to permanently falter them in the corner. If it causes a miss, it goes on cooldown for 10 seconds, meaning if you go medium or medium light medium or whatever, inflict the opponent with a falter, and they just back up and do nothing, you can go in straight in and do it again. but if it causes a miss, it has a 10-second cooldown. I really like this. Very nice safety net, giving you your ability, but if the AI doesn't play into you, you can just try it again without being punished. If Prowler's special attack would be punished, he inflicts a falter passive for 1 second. This is one of Prowler's defensive abilities, pretty much primarily, though I do also see that if you accidentally messed up and threw it into block, you have a safety net there as well. So I think this will make him annoying to fight, and maybe we should consider miss counters, or at least falter counters, so maybe he's a good counter for himself. Actually, he's not, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Whilst the opponent is faltered, they act more aggressively, and this interacts very nicely with this. Your second medium attack falters them, so they should come in and try and hit you, even though they can't hit you. We'll see why this is important later, and I'm sorry I've had to say that a few times. This guy is really complicated. Actually, there's a lot going on, and his gameplay loop on offense is quite tricky. But think, second medium falters the opponent. After the opponent activates a special attack, power drain their remaining power and inflict a power lock lasting 1.5 seconds after the final hit of their attack. So, if you are at 1.5 bars of power, and you throw your special 1, that remaining half a bar of power will be power drained. And actually, he gains, for every 1.5 of the opponent's power that is drained or burned, grants 1 power creep charge, up to a maximum of 30. This will make him an insanely good bishop counter, because when bishop throws the special attack, he doesn't actually spend the power, but Prowler will steal it all instantly, meaning as soon as bishop throws a special 1, you will be fully ramped, and you're incinerate immune. Really, really nice bishop counter. We don't know the tags on Prowler yet, so if he is considered #metal, then actually Terrax, for those of you that have just pulled your first 7-star, and it's Terrax, will be an excellent counter here, because he's immune to power drain and power burn effects from metal champions. On Prowler's special attack activation, each charge is converted into a fury, granting some attack rating over 10 seconds, paused during his special attacks, maximum of 30. So the gameplay loop you're trying to go for is you want to bait out an opponent's special attack when they're at sort of 1.9 or 2.9 bars of power, build your max power creep charges, then throw your special attack and convert all of those into furies. They will also be power locked straight after that special attack, which is something, again, we'll see a bit later. And by a bit later, I mean now. If you land a heavy attack against an opponent with 0 power, causes the final 4 hits to inflict a non-stacking incinerate debuff, dealing some damage over 20 seconds. The damage isn't huge, and the long duration is really, really nice. If you want to see the animation for this, I will link the Kabam deep dive down below, as I still haven't managed to work out why I can't show it here properly. So you can go watch it for yourself. But it's sort of 1 melee hit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of in quick succession, off his boot, but you should just be able to outrange it absolutely fine. Why is this important? Well, you can bait out an opponent's special attack, which will power drain them to nothing and power lock them, go medium to inflict your falter, meaning they can't hit you. That'll then cause them to miss if they try and attack you, because you can go medium straight into your heavy. They have been power locked and power drained, meaning they have no power, meaning you are guaranteed to get your incinerate in. After all that, if a personal rupture, and remember you get those off critical attacks, expires on an incinerated opponent, it explodes, dealing a burst of physical damage. So, build power creep, beta special for the opponent, medium straight into heavy for a nice long incinerate. Special 1. The animation for this is just a melee strike, and then he'll sort of zoom over you and kick you in the face, effectively. Nice simple one to outrage. On activation, gains a Pursuit passive for 30 seconds. Pursuit stops all evades. So, if you've got trouble with an evadey opponent, Special 1 can't evade for 30 seconds. Do note that they can't evade your mediums anyway, so we'll see how needed this is, but it will allow you to go for much longer combos. The final hit inflicts taunt debuff, and this will make them be much more aggressive, allowing you to go medium into Special 1, so then they can throw their special straight into your taunt, which will allow you to maybe go for your heavy after that. Have to see. And the special attack does not grant power to the opponent. So, if they throw a special attack, you gain some power creep charges, you go medium, then straight into Special 1, so now you've got medium, they are faltered, and that falter is paused during your special attack. I said this guy was complicated. This special attack grants no power to the opponent. They are still at no power. They throw their special attack into your falter. You can punish with another medium into your heavy attack. Special 2. This one is a melee strike, then he'll sort of turn to smoke, zoom along the floor a little bit like Ant-Man, and then jump up for 1, 2, 3 melee hits. Again, shouldn't be too difficult to outrange, but we'll have to see what the dash duration is on his smoke. The first hit refreshes and pauses all ruptures until the final hit of the special attack, and each hit inflicts additional ruptures. This, combined with your Furies, will inflict a lot of damage. These ruptures and your personal ruptures will get scaled up a lot, and if the opponent is incinerated, they will be detonating as well once a special attack has finished, and they will all detonate at once for a very large burst of damage. This is where his damage comes from, and it's really quite good by the looks of it. Special 3. Prowler ditches the niceties and overcharges his gauntlets till the end of his next special attack. Whilst overcharged, Prowler gains 50% combat power rate, so the power you gain from hitting the opponent, but cannot activate special 2 or 3s. Additionally, power creep charges are not removed on conversion, and new Fury passives do not count towards the cap. We'll come on to the last line in a second. So, you throw your special 3, and now you can build back up to another special 3, but you can't throw it. That will allow you to throw special 1 straight into special 2. And I think his awakened ability will make him much smoother to play for this loop in particular. Power creep charges are not removed on conversion, and the new Fury passives do not count towards the cap, essentially allowing you to go for 60 power creep charges, so 60 Furies, rather than the previous 30. Grants the opponent a 100% power efficiency passive for 30 seconds. And you might be going, well, hang on, what? That means the opponent can throw their special attacks for 0 power cost. Why on earth would I want to put that on my opponent? Well, remember that Prowler power drains his opponent for any power they have left after they finish their special attack. Meaning, you get to drain all of their power. So if they're at 2.5 bars of power, rather than getting half a bar of power, you get the full 2.5 bars for 30 seconds, allowing for much more damage spam. This is a blessing in disguise. And finally, signature ability. Whilst the opponent is faltered, you get really high crit chance. Excellent. More crits, more ruptures. We like it. Whilst the Prowler has at least 30 Fury effects, his special attacks are passively unblockable. And this is what I was saying here, should make this loop much nicer, because you can throw your special 1 straight into your special 2, guaranteed unblockable passive. Very, very nice. So what do we need to beat this guy? Well, his 2 major defensive threats that I see are his non-contact medium attacks, making parrying difficult, and his miss, or falter, when you try and punish his special attacks. In order to counter his non-contact medium attacks, we can either learn to reparry, which involves parrying the first attack, though it won't stun him, then releasing block for just a fraction of a second, and trying to parry his second attack. If that's a light attack, you'll be able to parry him just fine. Or we can use champions that can just parry non-contact attacks outright. Some good options are Angela, Cull Obsidian, Guardian, or Proxima Midnight. To try and get around that miss, or falter, when you punish a special attack, we can use champions that have access to Vigilance or True Sense, as both of these effect bypass miss. For Vigilance, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer, Vox, and, annoyingly, Super Skrull all have access to Vigilance, and for True Sense, Gallon, Hercules, Red Goblin, and again, Silver Surfer. The fact that you are power drained after you throw your special attack is probably more annoying than anything, but if we want to get around that, then we can use champions such as Venom, Venompool, Gallon, King Groot, Hulkling, and if Prowler is metal, you'll be able to use Terrax as well. So, there we have it. Everything you need to know about the pre-release version of Prowler. Coming tomorrow, we have the follow-up for 6.4.3. On Friday, hopefully we'll have a full Masteries guide, and then next week we'll be back into 6.4.4, and hopefully we'll get to the Grandmaster by the end of the month. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, and maybe consider joining the Discord server. It's a great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future video topics, and while I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. Thank you, and I will see you next time.